Hello friends, you are watching 3A's Vision, an innovative distance learning channel. We have started a series of videos about international financial reporting standards and international accounting standards, followed one by one. It is most important and desired that if you are interested in improving your learnings in international financial reporting standards and international accounting standards, subscribe to our channel and click on bell icon to get our future updates. Dear friends, in preparation of IFRS 1 video, we tried our level best to cover the maximum matter of discussion, which will be helpful to understand the IFRS 1. Therefore, keeping in view length of this video, we have split up the video of this standard in different parts to control its time length. Therefore, to get complete knowledge, watch its all parts. Hello friends, in part 3rd of IFRS 1 video, we will discuss about optional exemptions of third main element of IFRS 1, that is specific exceptions and exemptions. And the remaining part of this element of IFRS 1 will be discussed in next parts of the video. Optional exemptions. The second element of specific exceptions and exemptions. This section covers all of the optional exemptions from the general principle of full retrospective application allowed under IFRS 1. Each exemption is discussed in detail, including consideration of practical implementation issues. So there are main 14 optional exemptions, that are business combinations, share-based payment transactions, insurance contracts, deemed cost, leases, employee benefits, cumulative translation differences, investments in subsidiary jointly controlled entities and associates, assets and liabilities of subsidiary, associates and joint ventures, financial instruments, decommissioning liabilities including in the cost of property, plant and equipment, surface concession arrangement, borrowing cost, and the last one, transfers of assets from customers. The first optional exemption is business combinations. Full retrospective application could be very onerous and in many cases will be impracticable. Any entity intending to follow this path will need to ensure that it has the information needed to apply the acquisition method retrospectively in accordance with IFRS 3, which in particular includes calculation of the cost of business combination, identification of assets acquired including any intangible asset, and liabilities and contingent liabilities assumed, measurement of fair value at the date of acquisition of assets acquired and liabilities and contingent liabilities assumed, and impairment test of goodwill each year subsequent to the date of acquisition. As an alternative to applying IFRS 3 retrospectively, IFRS 1 includes an optional exemption for business combinations set out in the standard. The most significant features of the accounting under IFRS 1 are that the classification of former business combinations, acquisition or uniting of interests under previous generally accepted accounting principle is maintained. There is no remeasurement of original fair values determined at the time of the business combinations, date of acquisition, and the carrying amount of goodwill recognized under previous generally accepted accounting principles is not adjusted other than the specific instances. There are 9 main elements of business combination which we discuss here in optional exemptions, that are timing to use the exemption, classification of previous business combinations, recognition of assets and liabilities, measurement of assets and liabilities, goodwill, non-controlling interests and deferred tax, subsidiaries non-consolidated under previous GAAP translation of goodwill and fair value adjustments arising in a business combination, and lastly, number 9, summary of the business combinations exemption. The first element of business combinations, that is timing the use of exemption. An entity may utilize the exemption to avoid applying IFRS 3 retrospectively to any business combination that occurred before the date of transition to IFRS. In such circumstances, IFRS 3 is applied prospectively for business combinations from the date of transition. However, the entity may elect to restate business combinations from any date prior to the date of transition. If any business combination is restated, then all later business combinations must also be restated. If business combinations prior to the date of transitions are restated, they must be restated to conform with the requirements of whichever version of IFRS 3 is effective at the date of the first time adopter's first IFRS reporting period. The second element of business combinations, optional exemptions, that is classification of previous business combinations. Under previous generally accepted accounting principle, a business combination may have been classified differently than IFRS would require for the same business combination. For example, under previous GAAP, an acquisition may have been classified as a uniting of interests, also known as pooling of interests, which is not permitted under IFRS 3, or an acquisition following the legal form, which would have been classified as a reverse acquisition under IFRS 3. The third element of business combinations, recognition of assets and liabilities. All assets acquired and liabilities assumed in a business combination that qualify for recognition under IFRS are recognized at the date of transition, except for some financial assets and liabilities derecognized under previous GAAP. Assets and liabilities are recognized in accordance with the relevant IFRS for the specific item. Therefore, under the optional exemptions, research projects and contingent liabilities existing at the date of acquisition are not separated from goodwill, as they would be in IFRS 3 were applied for the same business combination. Any adjustments arising as a result of the recognition of assets and liabilities not recognized under previous GAAP are recognized in retained earnings or any other relevant category of equity, other than those related to intangible assets acquired in a business combination and not previously recognized. Adjustments to those assets are adjusted against goodwill. Assets acquired and liabilities assumed that do not qualify for recognition under IFRS but that were recognized under previous GAAP are derecognized. The resulting adjustments are recognized in retained earnings unless they relate to an intangible assets. The fourth element of business combinations, that is measurement of assets and liabilities. The measurement of assets acquired and liabilities assumed in a business combination may be different to that of other assets and liabilities of the entity. The optional exemption for business combination provides the following three measurement bases for assets and liabilities. In accordance with applicable IFRS measurement bases, for example, fair value at date of transition, carrying amount immediately after the business combination under previous GAAP, that is deemed cost less accumulated depreciation under IFRS. Bases that IFRS would require in separate financial statements of acquiring. The fifth element of business combinations, that is goodwill. As a general principle, under the optional exemption, the carrying amount of goodwill in the opening IFRS statement of financial position is its carrying amount under previous GAAP, adjusted only for the following items. carrying amount of the intangible assets at the date of transition, less deferred tax and non-controlling interests is added to goodwill. The amount at which the intangible asset would have been recognized in the separate IFRS financial statements of the acquiree at the date of transition, less deferred tax and non-controlling interests is deducted from goodwill. Any impairment loss resulting from testing goodwill at the date of transition is deducted from goodwill. No other adjustments to goodwill are permitted at the date of transition when applying the optional exemption. IFRS 1 highlights the following examples for which goodwill is not adjusted. Number 1. To exclude in process, research and development acquired in a business combination, unless it qualifies for separate recognition by the acquiree under IAS 38. Number 2. To adjust previous amortization of goodwill. And number 3, to reverse adjustments to goodwill that IFRS 3 would not permit, but that were made under previous GAAP as a result of adjustments to assets and liabilities between the date of acquisition and the date of transition. Goodwill deducted from equity. If goodwill was deducted from equity under previous GAAP, a first-time adopter does not recognize that goodwill as an asset in the opening IFRS statement of financial position. On disposal of the subsidiary or business that gave rise to the goodwill previously deducted from equity, the amount previously deducted from equity is not transferred to profit or loss as part of the net gain or loss on disposal. Negative goodwill. Under the optional exemption for business combinations, a negative goodwill recognized under previous GAAP is de-recognized with the corresponding adjustment to retained earnings at the date of transition. The sixth element of business combinations, that is non-controlling interests and deferred tax. The exemption for business combinations requires that the measurement of non-controlling interests and deferred tax follows from the measurement of other assets and liabilities. Therefore, even if an entity decides to avail of the business combination exemptions and not restate prior business combinations, some adjustment to non-controlling interests and deferred taxes may still be required. The seventh element of business combinations, that is subsidiaries not consolidated under previous GAAP. If a subsidiary has not previously been consolidated under GAAP, at the date of transition, the parent identifies the assets and liabilities of the subsidiary and adjusts the carrying amounts to the amounts that IFRS would require in the subsidiary's separate financial statements. The deemed cost of the goodwill relating to the previously unconsolidated subsidiary at the date of transition is calculated as the difference at the date of transition between the parent's interest in the adjusted carrying amounts of the net assets of the subsidiary and the cost in the entity's separate financial statements of its investment in the subsidiary. The procedures for determining goodwill for a subsidiary that was not previously consolidated could lead to the recognition of a significant amount of goodwill if the subsidiary has, subsequent to the date of acquisition, reduced the carrying amount of net assets either by distribution of pre-acquisition reserves or by incurring significant losses. In all cases, goodwill recognized is tested for impairment at the date of transition. If on the other hand, the subsidiary has generated a significant amount of profit subsequent to acquisition, goodwill could be very limited. Negative goodwill at the date of transition is recognized directly in retained earnings. The eighth element of business combinations, that is translation of goodwill and fair value adjustments arising in a business combination. International Accounting Standard 21, the effects of changes in foreign exchange rates requires goodwill and fair value adjustments to assets and liabilities that arises on the acquisition of a foreign operation to be treated as a part of the assets and liabilities of the acquired entity and translated at the closing rates. An entity may, under previous generally accepted accounting principles, have treated goodwill and or fair value adjusted as cost, assets and liabilities of the entity rather than as assets and liabilities of the foreign operation. If so, the ninth element of business combinations, that is summary of the business combinations exemption. The decisions to utilize the business combinations exemption on first time adoption and the point from which the exemption is applied can have a substantial impact on an entity's first IFRS financial statements. The following summarizes the key differences between using the exemption and restating business combinations to conform with the requirements of IFRS 3. Classification. Keep the previous classification, that is acquisition, pooling of interests or reverse acquisition. Recognition. Identify assets and liabilities at the date of transition to IFRS. Measurement. Measurement basis other than cost, that's fair value, cost based, measured assets and liabilities, carrying amounts less accumulated depreciation, assets and liabilities not recognized under previous GAAP. Measurement of goodwill. Goodwill deducted from equity under previous GAAP remains deducted from equity at the date of transition. Subsidiaries not previously consolidated. Recognize and measure assets and liabilities at the date of transition as if the subsidiary always has applied IFRS. In part 4th of IFRS 1 video, we will discuss about the remaining optional exemptions of third main element of IFRS 1, that is specific exceptions and exemptions.